You're listening to Tavern Sports Radio Network.
Show me the money! Show me the money!
Show me the money. Welcome to the 70th episode of the Show Me the Money podcast, brought to you by Tavern Sports. Well, welcome in today, fellas. Glad to see everybody's faces here. We actually have somewhat of a good squad today. Only guy we're missing is John and Cole, so I guess two guys today. But we'll get the things rolling without them. Again, 70th episode this week. We're in season number 4 of Tavern Sports, or of Show Me the Money, I should say. Parker, we're gonna go over our current locks. Parker leading the way here at 12-9. Clark right behind. Actually, technically, Clark is a half a game ahead. Yeah, Clark is technically a half game ahead. 12-8. I'm kind of right there. I'm right behind you guys. Josh is right behind you guys as well. I'm 11-9. Josh 11-10. John 9-10. Cole 9-10. And Tyler, you got another win. Congrats, buddy.
Tipping a chair. It's all I need.
Hey, I
don't think you have enough time to fight back, kid.
That's not complete. I mean, you can't get first, but like, as long as you win,
he doesn't have enough time to get to 500.
As long as you have the next 2 weeks, or next 3 weeks, I should say, where your lock hits, then you could at least end up with the same record as John and Cole, assuming they either don't get a pick in or they miss their pick. So
you're saying there's a chance.
Saying there's a chance. Well, let's take a quick look at the NCAA football champions. Ohio State is the team that came away with that. Is that game pretty much exactly how you guys thought it was going to go? Because it was pretty much on the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect Notre Dame's defense to give up that many points. 31 unanswered points. And then granted, Notre Dame did come rolling back in the second half, but Parker and I did like a watch along of that game together. Riley Leonard just absolutely gassed after the first drive. He had 9 carries, punched it in for a touchdown. And then he was throwing up on the sidelines. Like, on the play before he scored on the opening drive, his linemen were picking his limp body up off the ground. Like, it was the end of the third quarter. So from that moment on, Parker and I knew, like, hey, this is not going to go well. Like, they can't do this shit for 60 minutes. And then Notre Dame went down and scored barely quick. I want to say in real life time, they said it was 22 minutes, but it was in game time. It was like 6.5. And then Riley Leonard had to go right back out there, and it was a 3 and out, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, you're right.
Just absolutely gassed him. Glad I got in on them at the -130. Was happy to punch that ticket in there. So futures have been going decent-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I expected the game to go. Couple late look-alive touchdowns from Notre Dame there towards the end of the game. Don't know if defense was checked out from Ohio State or what, but they tried to show some fight there towards the end. It kind of made that fourth quarter really interesting to spice up the game and to kind of give hope to those Notre Dame fans when they shouldn't have had hope to begin with.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I noticed with the second half as well, is like they did just enough to like make the fans happy again inside the stadium, only to give up the field goal, and Ohio State ends up covering. So
not gonna lie, I turned off at halftime.
Yeah,
I really did. And then you guys said it was an 8-point game with 4 minutes left, and I'm like, okay, I'll turn it on and watch Ohio State score. And then Notre Dame forced a 3 and out, and all you had to do was go score, and then they pissed down their leg and give the ball back.
Yep. But great college football season overall. Great,
Ryan Day saves his job.
Ryan Day does save his job. First 12-team playoff is over with. I'm sure there will be tweaks to that immediately. No team that won their conference championship was in the final or in the final four, right?
I don't
Yeah,
think
the
so.
I think the final four
Yeah,
were
the Final Four was the 5, 6, 7, and 8 seed.
Yeah.
correct.
So, really interesting
But
setup.
at the same time,
Everybody who got a bye got there.
but Oregon wasn't gonna even if you cut this back down to the 4 team, Oregon was still gonna be in it.
For
Like-
sure, for sure. But my thing is like Oregon, who had a undefeated regular season, had to run the gauntlet like Ohio State did, which props to Ohio State. But like your 1 seed getting set up with Tennessee and or Ohio State, that's not a fun matchup. And we saw how that worked for Oregon. And then after that, like having to go in and face another juggernaut and then running into eventually Notre Dame in the championship. Not ideal for the 1 seed. That's not how you draw a tournament up at all. I like the idea of reseeding, but then that always leaves like an Arizona State at a high disadvantage. Which granted,
the way I see it is like if you did a 14 playoff, two of the teams by seeding, the 2 teams that played in the Natty wouldn't have been there by seeding. But I think everyone agrees by what they did by what they did on the field throughout the year, they both probably would have been in the 4 team. Maybe Ohio State doesn't get there after the loss to Michigan.
yeah, if we're talking 4 team, Notre Dame's not there at all.
I think Notre Dame's there. They have a 1-loss season.
Yeah, but
NIU,
yeah,
who are
to
you kicking
NIU.
out? Texas, Georgia, or Ohio State for a team that
Realistically, it's probably Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Notre Dame. After Ohio State gets that second loss. Realistically.
I mean, granted, the whole discussion is over with now. The 4 team is dead. But if you take a team that their best win was what? A&M?
An early season A&M, yeah.
Like,
Or was it
that's-
USC that they played early and played? No, they played
no, they
USC
played A&M
late.
early,
and
but
A&M
you know what I
late.
mean? That's their best win over a team like,
And A&M was a pretty shoddy team.
yeah, like I don't know if Notre Dame even sneaks into the 4 team with 1 loss this year because it was to NIU. And they beat service academies and fucking, nobodies the
I
whole
will
way.
say if Notre Dame would have won, it would have been funny to see a bunch of NIU shit posters saying that they won the Natty. That would have been fun.
That would have been. But let's let college football rest. August is just on the horizon, boys. It will be back. Transfer portal will be
Hell, dude,
interesting
fucking
to
Senior
see.
Bowl's next week. It ain't over yet.
Well,
Road
it's
to
not.
the draft is here.
Yeah, it's draft season. College football season is over. We're gonna have to wait and see how all of these new teams take shape again. See who gets what out of the transfer portal. So next year's gonna be a completely different year. There's already projections for who's gonna win it the too early. Who knows?
Oh, the way you guys want to talk about the way too early top 25?
Not today.
No, no, way too early. Top 25 was ridiculous.
With this
Yeah.
is awful, dude.
But let's get into something that's actually taking place this week, and let's get into our NFL conference championship weekend. Only 3 games of football left for the year, boys. So really strap your hard hats down for these two. We got 2 really good lines. The Commanders +6 heading into Philly. Over under in that game is 47.5. And then the Sunday night or Sunday evening rather, Bills going into Kansas City. Just this typical storybook we're used to seeing here. Who do you like in the NFC East matchup here, Parker?
Give me the commies. I'm bandwagoning them here. I'm hopping on the commie train. I like how they're playing. Jaden Daniels looks incredible. You can tell he knows that offense and they're trusting him with what they're being able to do and what they're giving him these deep balls and he's making good reads down there. I mean, you've seen it versus the Lions. Yes, the Lions defense is banged up, but they've been there ready to play all year. And I thought Jaden Daniels looked incredible. Their defense hung in there as best they could with that juggernaut of an offense. thinking it might be a little bit easier against the Eagles. I think didn't they split during the season?
I was just looking at they did.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have another kind of grab your popcorn game over here. And if the Commanders come out playing like they did the Lions, I think the Commanders take this game. So
Yeah, so the
personally,
Commanders
I'll
won it.
take the Commanders on the spread.
The Commanders won at home by 3, and the
By
Eagles
8.
won at home by 8. So, um, granted, that game at home was in early November. Um, and then the last one was, Christmas or the week before Christmas. So, recent matchups, I mean, these are divisional rivals. You guys see these two teams match up twice a year, every year, nothing new for any of this coaching staff. I think it's interesting. The Commanders have put up 34, average 34 points a game in the playoffs, and the Eagles are letting up 16 for the first two games, as their average. So it's good on good here. Um, the Eagles defense versus the Commies offense. I don't know. Jaden Daniels hasn't looked rattled, whereas Jalen Hurts last week did not look good at home in the snow against LA. Granted, no snow in the forecast for this week, but it did scare me how every time he dropped back, he just froze. He didn't do anything. It was paralysis by analysis. Saquon's really going to have to put the team on his back here. 130 and a half is his rushing line this week. Highest
Crazy.
ever in NFL playoff history.
Do you want to know what his ATTD is? Because it's crazy.
Probably minus 330 for one, or is it in the
280.
four?
Minus 280.
280. He put
Man,
up,
they're
he put up
giving him
2 on
some.
him. He put up 2 on him in both matchups this year.
Your book that you use, man, the lines are crazy. I've got it at minus 230. So plus 240 for any or for 2 plus. But yeah, Saquon Barkley has torched this Commanders defense twice now this year. I'm not going to touch that over prop. I do hope he goes over, though, as I have a futures ticket on the Eagles in the Super Bowl at plus 550. So my pick for this week is the Eagles, essentially on the money line, in the sense of that future. I don't hate the Commanders plus the 6 here. What I really like is in a 6-point teaser or even my 13-point monster. The Commanders to plus 14 in the 6-point, to plus 12 in the 6-point. They have not lost by more than 10 to this Eagles team yet this year. So, yeah, I kind of like teasing them up a little bit and getting myself real safe through 10. But yeah, I'm essentially Eagles money line this week for the future.
Okay.
Y'all said Saquon's line's 131, right?
130 and a half. Yeah.
130. He gave him 150 twice this year. So
Parker,
Yes, Clark.
was it you that said you would like the commies here?
Yes, it was.
I completely disagree with you. It's not hard to win a playoff game when Jared Goff turns the ball over, to be
Not
honest.
wrong. Defense
And
got
I
to show
think-
up.
Jared
I
Goff
think
went back
this
to his
week-
LA days, bro.
Yeah, I don't think they played the best Lions team. And I think for that reason, the Eagles are going to come in there and Saquon's just going to run it down their throat. But yeah, I mean, I love the commies as much as the next guy, but they played a fraudulent Lions team last week.
I think to Clark's point, we saw that Saquon had faced the Rams earlier in the season and torched them for over 200. And we all said, we'll just load up the box. Granted, it was a snow game, but they put 8 guys down in the box, and Saquon still hit home runs off of them. Like, he still took a 70-yard touchdown on them. He's just that good. The Eagles O-line blocks just that good. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him hit this over here and maybe hit another home run ball like he did against the Rams, kind of as the backbreaker as it was in the Rams game.
You talk crap about my book. My book will give you 125 and a half.
That's not bad.
Better than
Or-
130 and a half.
For this game, fellas, we're talking about America's bird versus the commies. What are we talking about here? Give me the Eagles minus 6.5. I'm a Jaden Daniels truther, believe it or not. Bears made the wrong pick. I'll stay by that.
Bears didn't make the wrong pick.
We drafted the guy who paints his nails.
Yeah, you'll have that. But that doesn't mean we made the wrong pick.
Eagles minus 6.5 though.
Love it.
Am I alone then?
No, I thought Ty was with you. Ty's with you on the comment.
He was not.
I'm confused.
I'll take it alone.
And Clark, you sit
I'll
in a
take-
fucking wind tunnel, buddy, or what?
No, I'm cooking dinner, bro.
You're breathing into your mic.
Oh, my bad. No, Tyler took the Eagles too.
Okay. Well, let's head
I'll take the Eagles since I haven't given a pick.
let's head into the next game. Second to last NFL game that we'll have before, or I guess last NFL game we'll have before the Super Bowl. We have
We're not going to talk Pro Bowl next week.
No.
No, they don't even play a football game anymore. They play a
Yeah, they
flag.
do. It's flag.
We will take a quick look at the Bills versus the Chiefs. No John here this week, unfortunately, to talk his Bills. He was actually at the last Bills game and said he caught bronchitis. So he is dealing with the health issues of going to a game in negative temperature. So, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But Bills versus Chiefs. This game is in Kansas City, unfortunately. So you're going to have the referees on the side of the Chiefs. We saw it last week.
They're always on the side of the Chiefs anyway.
They always are.
It
but
could be in Buffalo. They'd still be on the side of the Chiefs.
They always are. But I think last week was one of the worst weeks that you have seen referee wise in favor of the Chiefs. Let's hope that they fix that at least a little bit more this
it got to the point that the announcers were like, this is fucking bullshit. And
Yeah.
Mahomes was getting called soft all week for flopping out of bounds. And
yeah, that was really insane. Troy Aikman, former quarterback, he played in the league where his ass was getting sawed in half week in and week out, and there was no flag coming. Mahomes got a very soft roughing the passer called on him against Daniil Hunter. And then another one where two Texans players actually ran their heads into each other and nobody touched Mahomes on a very late slide. Mahomes on that play went to the sideline, did not step out, and tried to cut back in and upfield, realized there were defenders, took a very late slide, and then got an extra 15 yards handed to him. And then to talk about the flop, like Josh said, running out of the sideline, getting pushed in the back and throwing his arms up.
I don't know if it was Aikman or a different commentator that mentioned how when you play it in real time, you can see him slow down.
Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, he's trying to draw a flag. But
yeah.
And
here's
that's his job. Also,
You're right.
Forever, and everyone knows I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I think it's fucking bullshit that he gets all the calls he gets. Maybe I hate the guy because he's good. I don't really hate him. I hate his family. I don't hate him. But
Here's my gripe.
he enables.
If these fucking DBs and linebackers stop trying to just body check tackle motherfuckers and just actually dip, rip, and drive and fucking put your head on his stomach, you can tackle these quarterbacks normal without getting a flag. It's just they want to go up there and shoulder check him because they think that's the bigger hit. When he's running sideways out of bounds, you see them both still standing up. None of them dip low to make a tackle like you're supposed to. That's my gripe. These corners and linebackers can still tee off on these quarterbacks that try to do that. And I think somebody just needs to fucking do it and show that you can still tackle these guys when they're trying to get out of bounds. Like, quit trying to shoulder check them, because when they do that, they're going to get the flag 95% of the time because you're still in the vicinity. If you lower your body and make an actual tackle and wrap up around their legs, there is no reason for a flag to be anywhere called because you're doing the right thing.
Well, and I was going to say kind of to that point that the NFL at the end of the day is a business. These guys are all professionals. And when you say something to those linebackers and DBs, like, why don't you fucking hit them? Because they'll say, well, it's just not what you do. We're all professionals. We know that they're going to go down.
Well, to cap off all of this, we all are very tired, as is much of America, seeing Mahomes get these soft calls. I think for the good of the sport, for the good of the game, and for the good of the comeback player of the year run story, DeMar Hamlin needs to just saw Patrick Mahomes in fucking half on the sideline this week. One time in the first quarter, break his rib, do something, and just make him not want to fucking try it again. Make him want to get out of bounds. It takes one shot. You're going to get fined. You're probably going to get tossed. You're going to cost your team 15 yards in the moment. But who's the third stringer in the Bills locker room that's stepping up saying, you know what, coach? It's me. Give me the chance. I'm sawing the motherfucker in half. I'm the villain. Somebody's got to step
Sean
up.
Payton to start fucking bounty gating again.
Yeah,
Somebody's got to
back.
step up.
That was my thought too.
Dude, saw this dude in fucking half one time, and the shit is going to get over with. He ends up like Tua one time on the fucking ground. It ain't gonna fucking happen again. You might be blackballed for the fucking
I don't know.
league,
Tua's done it
but
3
you
times.
will never have to pay for a drink in America the rest of your life. If I see the guy walk into a bar that saws Patrick Mahomes in half and puts him in a guardian cap for the rest of his fucking career, I'm buying him a beer the entire night. It doesn't make a difference that I'm 200,000 in debt and he made 4 million a year. I'm buying him his fucking whole tab all night. You want mod sticks, buddy? Get extra marinara. You're a hero.
Hey,
Somebody
big baller, calm
saw
down.
him in half. Now, to this game, just like the other side, I have a future on the Bills. I talked about this last week in the Bills-Ravens game. Those were my two teams. I need Bills money line for the future to stay alive. If I get the Eagles-Bills parlay and get them in there, then the Super Bowl I'm free rolling. I'd really love to see that.
Give me Chiefs. Bills haven't gotten it done in the playoffs. Josh Allen can't beat them. Maybe this is the time Peyton Manning gets over Tom Brady. I don't know. He did it twice, so
Yeah, the Bills looked really good in the first half against the Ravens, and they kind of stalled in their offense. So you got to hope their defense can hang with the Chiefs, because if their offense tries to stall, that Chiefs defense is coming to play. I mean, they've shown it all year that they can play. Spagnuolo is just a guru over there and learning when to dial up blitzes and cover and run his zones. But yeah, this is going to be a tough one. I think this is going to be just one of those good old-fashioned Bills-Chiefs matchups that we like to watch. I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. It's just one of those.
Dude, it's the smart money.
Yeah,
you
it's
haven't
just
seen
the
them
coin
lose.
toss of a game. Yeah, they've been here before.
I don't even think it's a coin toss.
I don't think it's a coin toss at all. I mean,
you have the refs on your side.
Josh is 4-0 regular season against Mahomes, and he's 0-3 in the playoffs.
And you have the refs on your side. The Chiefs is the smartest play here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the Bills only at plus 105, the Chiefs are the smart play. Because it's how they said, former NBA players said in some of those finals games, like, yeah, we're projected to beat them by 4, but we really got to beat them by 14 to get rid of the refs. The Bills are going to have some bullshit calls come up against them, I promise you.
Yeah,
and
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
The Chiefs are the smart
over
money.
Under 2.5.
Bullshit calls or roughing the passer?
Bullshit calls.
I'll take the over, and I hope it's the under for the sake of my sanity.
Smart money.
Legit bullshit call.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, oh, roughing the passer, it's automatically bullshit. Like, it's got to be clear bullshit. Like, shoulder hit him in the fucking chest.
Yeah, that's a bullshit call. I'll take the over.
No, I agree.
I'll take the over. But speaking of the total of this game, I like the under.
What's it at?
It's 48.5. Chiefs defense has been playing really good this year. And their offense hasn't been, monstrous. Like, I'm not worried about the Chiefs coming out and putting up 30 on me. I really think whoever can get to 24 wins this game.
I would agree.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
The thing that you had mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, Ty, the smart money is on the Chiefs. It's been that way for 3 or 4 years now, where you don't bet against them. It's fucking annoying, but you don't bet against them.
I don't know if I'd say that. They're pretty bad ATL. They're pretty
Yeah, they're
bad
bad on the
ATS.
spread.
Bad against the spread. And in this game, you can argue there's not a spread. I'm gonna stay by that. I'm not gonna bet against the Chiefs. I would love to see the Bills win. I'd rather see the Bills win.
Everyone would.
It would
The
make
entire country.
It would make my job as a part-time employee for Dick's Sporting Goods a hell of a lot easier if the Bills win. So give me the Bill. Give me the Chiefs to win. Unfortunately, I want to see the Bills win, though.
I'm in the same boat, brother. I'm going to take the Chiefs to win, but want the Bills to win.
Yeah, if I didn't I don't know how I never purchased a Chiefs future. Just knowing
they looked horrible. They looked so bad all year.
They did, and then they get to the playoffs, and the refs do what the refs do, and the NFL pushes them, and first ever three-peat, yada yada. The fact that I never scooped them up isn't great. Something that you guys might like.
I did tell John Kelsey's going to give him 150 and 2 this week, so if you want to sprinkle that.
Something you could do here if you think the Chiefs win this game. Okay, actually, I'm putting this out there as a question to you all. Is the winner of the Super Bowl coming from the AFC or the NFC? Because in my opinion,
AFC, it's not even close.
I think the Bills or the Chiefs beat whoever is on the other side.
Agreed.
If you like that, if whoever you like in this game, because this game being a pick'em, the Chiefs are plus 220 on a Super Bowl future, and the Bills are plus 255. You could go hit those and
2 units apiece
and play it for the next week, 2 weeks, but still you could play that this week instead of a true money line parlay if you're in the belief that whatever team wins this weekend wins the Super Bowl. That's certainly an option for you.
So Kelsey 2 tuds and 150 is plus 587. If anyone's interested in that.
No thanks.
I don't see Kelsey getting 150. That one's hard, but he's going to get most of the targets. That's just how it's going to be.
John thinks Pacheco's going to run all over him. He would never say that out loud, but he said it to me in a text. So
Pacheco went absolutely freaking missing last week in their game, so I highly doubt that he fucking sees the field again. So
I mean, I can drink Clark's milk, bro.
Kareem Hunt might. Kareem Hunt definitely could, but Pacheco,
he's scared to get hit.
Yeah, his over-under is like 35 yards, 40 yards. Anyway, I think that's all of our picks. We obviously know John. He's superstitious. He won't have money on the Bills, but he's a Bills fan, so we know where he's at, and I'm sure Cole is in the same boat as you guys. He's also tired of seeing Mahomes win and would like the Bills to win. So
this episode of Show Me the Money is brought to you by Tavern Sports, your place to get fun sports content, sportsbook lines and parlays, and of course food reviews with Big E's Ballpark Bites. You can follow Tavern Sports on Instagram at Tavern Sports 2023, TikTok at Tavern.Sports, and Twitter at Tavern Sports 23.
Let's get into college basketball for the year. Well, we hit it last week, but the last week of college basketball has been really, really weird. A lot of parity this entire season, really. There has not been one true clean cut gonna win it all this year. It's made it pretty interesting. So let's get into the Friday night game. It is the game that we have a line on. That is number what, Michigan? Is Michigan ranked
21,
right now?
21 Michigan versus number 11 Purdue.
Okay. And that's a 4.5 point favorite for Purdue at home.
I got 3.5 on the blue book.
Okay. So you can get a 3.5 out there. Ken Palm has this as a 4-point win for Purdue, I believe. Is that correct? Gotcha.
Yes.
So Clark, do you have any sort of leanings here in this one?
Yeah. I'm going to go with Purdue here. didn't even know Michigan was a basketball school as of recent. So yeah, give me Purdue.
You've kind of been sleeping on college basketball if you really think that.
I haven't watched a single
I have
game,
not
brother.
watched any Michigan basketball. Michigan or Michigan State?
Michigan State's a blue blood. That's not a
Yeah.
question. Michigan has been coming on as of late. They
Never
didn't have their
watched a
best
game.
season last year, but little bit of numbers for this game. Purdue 15-5 on the season. Play really, really slow. 291st in the country in adjusted tempo. They have the 11th best offense according to Ken Palm and the 26th best defense. Going up against Michigan, who tries to play a little bit faster, 56th in the country as far as tempo goes. 14th best offense and 24th best defense. So going to be an interesting matchup here. Michigan's 14-4 on the season, so pretty evenly matched so far. The 4 losses for Michigan this year are to Wake Forest in November, Arkansas, who's not playing terrible. That was a 2-point loss. Oklahoma, a 1-point loss. And Minnesota, a 3-point overtime loss. Interesting note, the last 2 games for Michigan have gone to overtime, and that was on the 16th and the 19th. So they'll have a couple days for their legs to rest here. It shouldn't be a huge factor. I'm with you. I like Purdue, and I believe their money line's under 200. And honestly, I'd rather just do that than lay the points with how college basketball's been going.
That's fair.
Purdue has also had 9 games that are qualified as quad ones. They're 4-5, and Michigan is 3-1, and they're quad one wins. If that helps, anything.
I like that.
Yeah.
What's
So
Purdue's quad one record? Do we have that?
4-5.
4-5.
Gotcha. Yeah, they're so all 5 of their losses are deemed quad one. Coming off of a loss 2 days ago, as of recording this, actually at home against Ohio State. Really big upset for Ohio State. I was on the wrong side of that one, as a matter of fact. So I think that's another added aspect for Purdue here is they just got upset majorly at home. I would like for them to come out and cover the number here. My book has it at 4.5. Josh's has 3.5. 3.5 meets that Ken Palm projection. So I really like that. So I think I'm going to take the 3.5 or the money line in a parlay.
I'm going to take the basketball school. Give me Purdue.
All right. What's our next game here, boys?
Houston at Kansas. Ken Palm has Kansas as a 1-point dog, home dog. Houston's your Ken Palm 3rd-ranked team in the nation. Kansas is your 7th. In the AP poll, Houston is 7th and Kansas is 12th.
Yes.
Where's this game?
This is going to be in Lawrence, Kansas. So Kansas, 14-4 on the year. Their losses coming to Creighton, Missouri, West Virginia, and Iowa State. All respectable squads. Only real game where they kind of got embarrassed, you could say, is Iowa State. They had a 17-point loss there.
But it was in Hilton.
Yeah, it was in Hilton. Those teams match up again February 3rd. That'll be a fucking banger when it comes up. We'll see how that goes on the other side. Kansas, kind of in the middle of the pack as far as college goes, 151st in the country for tempo. 32nd best offense for adjusted efficiency and 4th best defense. And that's going against Houston, who's 15-3. Their losses, 2 of them coming in overtime to tournament teams, Alabama and San Diego State, and a home, neutral, but it was still a home. It was in Texas to Auburn. That was when Auburn early in the season, November 9th, had that fight on the plane. Since November 30th, this team has been perfect and has not lost. Granted, they haven't played the most impressive schedule, but this team, like normal, is super slow. 361st in the country as far as adjusted tempo goes. So not a ton of possessions. They hold the ball long, take it in a shot clock. 13th best offense and first best defense in adjusted efficiency. Little bit of tidbit here. Houston on an 11-game win streak. That's the second longest active streak in the nation. What do you like, Clark? I know we don't have a line. KenPom has it projected as a 1-pointer. What do you think?
Call it 1.5, because the books are going to add a half point to it so that there's no push.
See, I think they could have Kansas favored here. Personally, I think the books at home, you could have Kansas favored, but yeah, I'm interested to see what you think, Clark.
Parker had put some trends in the script as well. If you wanted to look at those,
what do we got?
Houston is 0-3 in quad one wins. Kansas is 3-3 in quad one wins. So they're kind of both sitting at okay against their opponents. I mean, you got maybe 500 Kansas, and then Houston hasn't looked very good, but they haven't also played as many games. Personally, I'll take Kansas. I'm just hoping they played better. I just going back on tradition and Kansas being Kansas basketball. Hopefully they'll get up. They're at home. Jayhawks are rowdy at home, so maybe that little edge gets them there. So I like Kansas here.
Yeah, I think it is worth noting Houston has a very weak strength of schedule so far. They do run into the meat of it a little bit later in the season. But as of right now, like you said, just the 3 quad one games and lost all 3 of them. But they do run into that meat here. Kansas, then West Virginia, then Texas Tech, Baylor, Arizona, Iowa State are all coming up here through January and February. So we're going to see what this team is really soon. And this is the first one. I'm going to take the more battle-tested team in Kansas at home in this one. Kansas coming off of 2 pretty easy wins against Kansas State and TCU. But I think after losing to Iowa State, they're going to want to show a little bit of fight, especially at home here, before they have to go play some tough away games to end the season out as well.
Yeah. I'm going to completely agree with you guys. I'm going to take Kansas here, especially being at Allen Fieldhouse. It's going to get loud and rowdy. And then also, it's tough to come by with Big 12 road wins. Like it doesn't get harder than that in college basketball.
Yeah, ask Iowa State.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me Kansas here.
Gotcha.
I'll take the Jayhawks.
Cool. So everybody on Kansas don't necessarily love that, but I see how Houston is projected to win by 1, but I don't know if the books are going to see that way. This one's at 6:30 on ESPN, going to be a banger for your your Saturday evening. What's our next game on the docket?
Back to the SEC, we have number 6 Tennessee taking on number 1 Auburn. Are they number 1 in AP2?
They're number 2.
Oh, they're number 2 in the
KenPom
AP.
and number 1 in the AP poll.
Yes, that's right.
KenPom has this game as a 8-point win for Auburn in the jungle down there. Parker, what do you have for trends in this game?
For this, Auburn is 10-1 and their quad one wins, and Tennessee is 6-2. So both pretty experienced teams going on the road and playing at home. So these guys, this is going to be a good game. Actually, I know Auburn's favored by, or early says that they're favored by 8. This line's probably going to go down, depending how you look at it. From what you guys have said, this Auburn squad is kind of the real deal. They're kind of one of the favorites to win the chip this year. But I like Auburn. I'm gonna hop on them. I just think they're playing really good basketball right now. Tennessee's looked kind of shaky in their last few games, so I'm going to take Auburn on this.
I like it. Speaking of their schedule for Auburn, second hardest overall strength of schedule, as far as Ken Palm has it ranked. Their only loss coming to number one Ken Palm rated team, Duke, who is the true sportsbook favorite to win it all right now. That was a road game for Auburn. That was in the SEC ACC matchup in early December. But since then, have obviously been perfect. Not necessarily playing the hardest teams, but playing some really good teams. They have to run the gauntlet again here coming up soon. Tennessee, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Florida, Bama, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Bama again to wrap the season up before going into the SEC championship tournament. This is one of the hardest conferences in college basketball. If you don't believe so, you're just wrong. The SEC might put in over 10 teams to the field this year. Auburn, first overall adjusted efficiency offense and 19th best defense. Going to the Tennessee line here, Tennessee we have as sixth overall in Ken Palm rankings and in the AP poll. For this game, Tennessee plays really slow, 334th in the country in tempo, 23rd best offense, third best defense. So this is good versus good here. Number one offense, number three defense. Who's going to prevail? In my opinion, I think because it's at home for Auburn, we're going to see Auburn pull away in this one. I don't know what the projected line is going to be, but Tennessee went and got shellacked at Florida by 30. And then they've just lost on the 18th of January by 1 to Vanderbilt on the road. So when they have these tougher road environments, they struggle from what we've seen so far. Granted, Tennessee did bounce back and beat Mississippi State by 12 just on Tuesday. So I think Auburn takes this one and covers the spread as long as it's not above 8.5.
Yeah.
That's
like
my
that.
guess.
I like that.
Anybody else have any thoughts on this one?
You mean Tennessee on the spread? As long as it ends up, as long as it's at 8.5 or higher.
Yeah, I agree with you. If it's a 7-point spread, give me Auburn. Anything higher, I'd probably take Tennessee. I think they'll keep the game close. But like I said last week, I'm a big fan of this Auburn team, and they're gonna win the game. That's 100% fact.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, if you haven't watched a game that Auburn plays in at home, it's insane. Really small gym, only 9,100 as far as capacity goes, and it gets fucking loud there for sure. So they just faced another top ranked team. Well, sorry, top 25 ranked team in Mississippi State at home on the 14th and beat them by 22. So teams go to Auburn to die, essentially. So give me the Auburn team here, and I'm going to love it as long as the number is not outrageous. What's our next game, boys?
We are going to the East. UConn versus Xavier. I think it has Xavier at -1. Am I reading that correctly?
That's
Yes.
what Ken Palm had.
Ken Palm is projecting this as a 1-point game. That's 35th ranked UConn going into 45th ranked Xavier. That's for the Ken Palm rankings. What do we have as far as AP poll goes here?
UConn's 19th, Xavier's unranked.
Unranked. Gotcha. Like we said, this game is going to be in Cincinnati. Xavier home game here. A little bit of a look into this here. Whoever's logging into the Ken Palm over and over, you're kind of fucking me up right now. Adjusted tempo for Xavier, 139th in the country. They don't play slow. They don't play fast. 68th best offense and 38th best defense. And they are 12-8 so far this year. Their losses, though, coming to St. John's twice, Georgetown, Marquette. They've lost to UConn earlier this year in overtime on the road. That was a 5-point loss, but again in overtime. On the other side of this, we have UConn. UConn is going to be. Holy shit! Is somebody logging into the KenPom?
They're 14-5. They got a loss to Memphis, a loss to Villanova. They lost to Colorado. They also lost to Dayton, and they also lost to Creighton.
Yeah.
At home. They lost at home to Creighton.
Yeah, 2-2 in their last 4 games for UConn. 340th in tempo, 8th best offense, and 133rd best defense. Dan Hurley and the boys do not look the same this year without Donovan Clingan. However, this team really needs to get it going and find a groove in a tough Big East conference. Before getting into the Big East tournament, we saw their struggles earlier in the year. Parker, that Memphis, Colorado, and Dayton loss you mentioned, all coming at the Maui Invitational.
Yes.
Since then, only lost 2 games in conference by a combined total of 7 points. However, both those losses within their last 4 games. So they're kind of in the middle of a skid here. I think with having the 8th best offense, going against Xavier, who doesn't have the most powerhouse defense, 38th in the country, they need to find a way to win this game. This is technically a good-on-good matchup, and UConn has the better end of it. So I like UConn here, even though I probably shouldn't.
I'm with
I
you,
like
Ty.
UConn.
I do like UConn. I think they're still trying to find their way. They're trying to do something as well. I don't know if it's been done with a three-peat in college
It has
basketball.
not.
So they got the biggest target on their back wherever they step foot in the gym. I mean, you see clips of Dan Hurley going after the refs and stuff, but I mean, that's just him looking out for his players. He's being a good players coach, and I think he's just trying to find that strive. I mean, he's got a whole new squad there. I think give them some time, but I think they'll be ready to play some basketball when March comes around. So I know they've in their losses, like you said, and their 2 losses that are weren't in the Maui, they've only combined but lost by 7. So it's not like they're getting blown out. They're winning where they need to win on these smaller teams. You just gotta hope they can find that spark to really just kind of kick it in gear for them, that they can sustain a little win streak here. And I think that coming off a big win here, that helps because, like you said, this Big East they're a tough schedule this year. But yeah, give me UConn.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
I'm in the same boat. I'm also going to take UConn here. I mean, UConn, how many losses do they have in the year already? They're at like
5.
5.
Yeah.
I mean, if
It's
they
not
don't,
what we're used to seeing.
yeah, if they don't find themselves before March, like they're gonna have to win the Big East to get in. Like
And they're about to run into the meat of their schedule to start
Marquette.
February. Marquette, St. John's, Creighton. Then they get Seton Hall and Villanova, which aren't, easy games by any means. Seton Hall should be. Villanova's no slouch. But then you get St. John's, Georgetown, with Ed Cooley there, and St. John's has Patino coaching. And then you end the season with Marquette and Seton Hall at home to try to steady yourself one more time before the Big East tournament. But Clark, you're not necessarily wrong. If this UConn team doesn't figure it out soon, they could be in a win and in scenario, which is crazy to think about for Dan Hurley, especially because they have done a little bit better. Like we said, after those 3 losses, they beat Baylor, they beat Texas, they beat Gonzaga. So they've beat tournament teams. It's just, I don't know how many more landmines you can step on in this competitive Big East.
Yeah.
What's our next game on the docket, boys?
I think
That's it?
that's it
Yeah.
for us.
In terms of games, that is it. I was gonna give a quick shout out, however, to the University of Duke students who, by the way, are already waiting in line for the Duke UNC game on February 1st.
So we're over a week out and
A
they're
week.
camped out.
They have been
I mean-
camping out since the 12th of January.
Yeah.
They have been camping out in tents. I just found a video.
Did you guys not know that this happens?
This happens
literally
every year.
every year.
Every year.
I understood
Literally
that there
every
was
year. Twice a year. Happens twice a year because the UNC kids do it too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I understood that there was like a way to do it, but I don't think that like I didn't know the extent of what they have to go through.
Yeah, you got a team. Somebody has to be on site at all times.
Yep.
They do tent checks like 2 or 3 times a day to make sure someone's in your tent. You have to test into it, and it's not like an academic test. It's a bullshit. Like I think
Are
one of
you
the
a
questions.
fan?
I think one of the questions this year was what was so and so player's senior prom date's prom dress color was one of the questions this year.
Yeah.
Like
What's okay? I know they camp out, but what's the point of it? Do they get like?
They get the
That's
best
get free tickets.
Student section.
Just
No,
stick-
it's not free tickets. It's the student section is general admission, and they want to be front
So-
row.
Okay,
Which
that
is what's insane this year is UNC is not that good. Granted, it's their biggest
UNC's not gonna
rivalry
make the
game.
tournament.
It's their biggest rivalry game. It's going to be a fun matchup, no matter what, how bad either team is. But damn, since the 12th,
that's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. And
Was
so at night they have to have, or sorry, at night they all have to sleep in the tent. During the day, there has to be a minimum of 2 people inside of the tent, and they will do checks like every
I thought
Josh said, every couple
I thought
hours.
only 2 had to be in the tent overnight. I
I
think
don't
it
know,
had
so-
2. I thought it was 2 on site at all times, no
Correct.
matter what.
But they also have a rule that if it's above freezing, so if it's above 32 degrees, all 10 people are, or however many people are on your team, are required to be in the tent.
Didn't know that.
Damn.
But they also did. They checked them out one day at like 9 p.m. because it was way too fucking cold.
Yeah. So
Like
if-
they're
once
not psychopaths about it. They're like, okay,
yeah.
this is unsafe. Go
once
to your
it
dorm.
drops below freezing, they give them a quote unquote grace period is what they call it. So once it drops below 32 degrees, they sound a horn and say, you know, you can go home. You don't have to be here. It's supposed to be 35 degrees at noon tomorrow. You have to have 2 people back here by then.
I'm just saying, strapping it up with the boys for a fucking month in a tent with a case of Busch Light to watch the Blue Devils go fucking crazy would be some great
be fun.
bad lore
Be a lot
in
more
any
than-
years.
It'd be a lot more than a case of Busch Light. That tent would be built from Busch Light cans, man.
The Igloo and
yeah.
Busch
These
Light.
kids go to fucking Home Depot and get shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
they're-
I've seen people on TikTok and they got like insulating foam because they put the tents on pallets,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know, to
Which
keep
is
them off the
smart.
grass. It's super smart. So they went and got insulating pads and like spray foam insulation to insulate under them, like insulate the pallets so that there wasn't air running underneath of them the
Yeah.
whole time.
It's crazy.
That would be some fucking fun shit to do with
That'd
the
be
boys.
so fun.
It would. Can't blame them. That is a heart of a champion shit.
Hey there, sports fans! Are you tired of the same old boring shirts? Well, we've got something exciting for you. Introducing the Tavern Sports Pocket Tee, where style meets passion for the game. Whether you're a diehard fan or just like the environment, Tavern Sports has got you covered, literally. The best part, because you're listening to Show Me the Money, you can use the code $$ to get 15% off today. So what are you waiting for? Head over to tavern-sports.square.site right now and elevate your game day experience. Tavern Sports. Beer, betting, sports.
Lock of the week. Slim pickings this week. But let's get into it. Parker, where are you going?
All right. I'm taking an anytime touchdown scorer this week. I'm going out on a limb here. Give me Kareem Hunt, anytime touchdown at plus 150.
I like it.
John did get us a lock. He's taking Josh Allen ATTD.
I like that as well.
Josh, what do you have for us?
I'm taking Chiefs money line. I hope it's wrong. I hope I lose this one and go back to 500. But I'm kind of hot right now. So
Josh, I'm joining you on it. Unfortunately, man. Chiefs money line it's the smart money. They don't bet against the Chiefs.
I need Tyler to take Chiefs money line, honestly.
You guys need me to mush them?
Yeah, mush,
You guys
mush,
need me to mush them. Everybody wants to hate on me till right this moment, huh? Interesting.
Clark, what are you going to go with?
I'm gonna follow Parker here, going anytime touchdown. I'm gonna take Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown.
Okay.
Clark and I are going to be doing a little same game parlay action in that one. I hit one last week. To come out of the depths. Give me Zach Ertz anytime touchdown score at plus 285 for Washington. I hit Tyler Higbee at plus 500 last week in a parlay with Derrick Henry. Got that up to like plus 790 and slammed it. Had a really bad Saturday, won it all back on Sunday off that parlay. So go ahead and give me Zach Ertz to find the pain.
I like it.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Show Me the Money podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week after these NFL games.
Show me the money!